Greetings everybody, this is Justin Barbosa and this is the S010A System Development Projects. My answer for question 1A is the average salary for a systems analyst in Missouri is $79,000 and the average salary for a systems designer in Missouri is $83,000. The average salary for a systems developer in Missouri is $90,000. These salary statistics were taken from www.indeed.com, and it reveals that there is a significant difference between these three categories. My answer for 1B is the salary gap between an analyst and a designer is $4,000. The salary gap between a designer and a developer is $77,000, and the salary gap between the analyst and the developer is $11,000. For 1C, my answer is I believe the reasons for the salary differences is attributed to the supply and demand for a certain job skill and expertise. While I was browsing through the local advertisements, I noticed a recurring trend involving employers looking for applicants with extensive experience in computer programming languages, network design, and network administration. Some of these job positions have remained open for more than 2 months, which leads me to think that there are not enough individuals out there with the desired skills applying for those positions. And since the demand for system designers and systems developers are significantly higher than a systems analyst, this leads to the reason as to why one category has a lower average salary compared to the other two categories. For 1D, my answer is, from what I have read and researched online, there is definitely a gender gap in salaries. The problem is that there are so many conflicting reports on the web. An online computer journal out there mentioned an 8% pay gap, while a statistics site gave a 13.1% pay gap. A women's technology website revealed a 23.2% pay gap in their findings. Although none of these websites can agree on a specific number, they all agree that an information technology gender gap in salaries does exist. Specific things I have noticed among these websites is that some of them will take statistics concerning women in the data entering field and factor them into the equation, thus resulting in a lower percentage gap. But other websites do not take statistics on women in the data entering field into consideration, and thus yielding a higher percentage gap. This means that the definition of information technology related job positions widely differs among organizations due to their individual criteria. This reminds me of the saying, numbers don't lie, people do. For 3A, at this very moment, if I were asked to choose between becoming a systems analyst, designer, or a developer, I would definitely choose to be a systems developer. For 3B, my reason is that systems developers deal with lots of programming languages, database structures, and network troubleshooting. These are aspects of the information technology realm I feel most passionate about and comfortable doing day or night. The past 10 years of my life revolved around these aspects. I have encountered them daily when I was a phone technician back in Los Angeles, and I encounter them now as a legislative intern at the Missouri Capitol. For 3C, I listed that system analysts are 1. Practical/pragmatic, 2. They are quite patient, 3. They are very systematic and methodical, 4. They are masters of business language and computer language, and 5. They are troubleshooters and problem solvers. And I list for the systems designers, I list them as 1. Artistic, 2. Keen on marketing, 3. Masters of HTML, XML languages, 4. They are adept at selling their products and services, and 5. they are knowledgeable of office/workplace psychology. System developers, on the other hand, are 1. Capable of translating human commands into computer programming language. 2. They are detail-oriented. 3. They are determined and goal-oriented. 4. They are perfectionists when it comes to the build, test, implement, and refining cycle. And my strongest skills and traits are 1. Detail-oriented. 2. Goal-oriented. 3. Perfectionist. 4. Office psychology awareness. 5. Systematic methodical. 6. Troubleshooter problem solver. And 7. Practical pragmatic. So, in terms of skills and traits, I have the most in common with system developers and systems analysts. And for 3D, this is the same group I chose in question 3A, but I was surprised that it tied with systems analysts. I think the reason why I fall into both of these categories is because both of them require what I call an unwavering stubbornness when it comes to getting the job done. So in a way, I am not at all surprised considering that I have been associated with the words stubbornness, determined, and detail obsessed. For 5C, privacy, accuracy, property, and accessibility are 4 major ethical issues in the world of information technology right now. If I were to somehow encounter an ethical issue based on accuracy, let's say where a supervisor or someone higher in the rank ordered me to falsify information and distribute/upload it on the internet, then I would carefully handle the situation by first letting my supervisor know that I cannot do what he/she asks in good conscience. If this does not work, I would immediately notify the Human Resources Department and the Vice President of Operations. I will keep going up the company ranks until someone hears me out. And I would be very discreet and cordial while doing all of this. My goal this entire time in my mind is to help the company be aware of a possible corporate lawsuit that it probably wants to avoid at all costs. And by approaching the situation in this manner, I am letting the company know that I am on their side instead of the contrary. 5D. If my best friend were involved in this situation, mentioned above, I would have a very long conversation with him. So if he was the one to agree to falsify and distribute information on the internet, well, and even if he would never be held lawfully accountable for this violation, I would still let him know that what he did was morally wrong and unacceptable. I would try my best to talk some sense into him and hopefully convince him to rectify the situation. I would walk him through the proper steps on how to notify the upper management, very similar to how I answered 5C. Hopefully, if everything falls into place, he would still keep his job, while the company itself averted a major financial disaster. And that's my assignment. Thank you.